6 years, the many moods of Vince Daniels is back on his new home every Friday morning, 9 to 11 here on Smart Talk 1490 KMET.
Dr. Fujan Zain is a psychotherapist, a marriage and family therapist, and a life coach with more than 27 years of experience. She is the author of the Awareness Integration Model, which has been researched and published in numerous international journals. Dr. Fujan has offices in Beverly Hills, Irvine, and Woodland Hills, California, and also consults online and by telephone. Make an appointment with her today by calling 818-648-2140 or go online to www.fujan.com. That's www.FOOJAN.com.
1490 AM Smart Talk Radio KMET. Banning, Beaumont, and Redlands. 1490 AM Radio.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. President Trump is touting a refurbished section of southern border wall in Calexico, California, as he talks border security with local officials.
President Trump declaring this section of wall is the beginning of something much bigger.
We expect to have close to 400 miles done within about 2 years.
The Army Corps of Engineers briefing the president here that it could build 450 miles of wall in that time frame. The president saying while he is not closing the border right now, he is keeping an eye on Mexico. Alex Stone, ABC News, Calexico, California.
Former Trump fixer Michael Cohen is scheduled to report to federal prison in a month, but his attorney is making a last-ditch effort to delay his incarceration. Lanny Davis has written to congressional Democrats offering new documents relevant to their investigation into President Trump in an attempt to get a reduced sentence. Former Vice President Joe Biden brushing off allegations of unwelcomed contact by several women during an event in Washington, D.C.
Seconds into his speech, former Vice President Joe Biden cracking a joke about allegations he violated several women's personal space.
I just want you to know I had permission to hug Lonnie.
Biden referring to the male president of the labor union he was addressing. The quip was met with cheers from the largely male audience of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. Mona Kosar Abdi, ABC News, Washington.
Phoenix police say a man suspected of shooting a 10-year-old girl in her family's driveway in what they deem a road rage incident has been arrested.
He's been identified as 20-year-old Joshua Gonzalez. He has been booked into jail on 1 count of first-degree murder and 3 counts of aggravated assault.
Chief Jerry Williams says Gonzalez has an extended violent criminal history. Wall Street's major indexes closed higher or rebound, and after rebound in hiring last month, the Dow added 40 points, S&P gained 13. You're listening to ABC News.
All money managers might seem the same, but while some give their clients cookie-cutter portfolios, Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to your goals and needs. Some only call when they have something to sell. Fisher calls regularly, so you stay informed. And while some advisors are happy to earn commissions whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come from other money managers. So if you're in or nearing retirement, talk with us and find out why investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
A prominent lawyer charged in the college admissions bribery scandals, ready for a penalty.
Gordon Kaplan, the co-chairman of the international law firm Wilkie Farr & Gallagher, said in a statement he intends to enter a guilty plea to the criminal charge against him. Kaplan allegedly paid $75,000 to rig his daughter's ACT. His statement said she had no knowledge whatsoever about what he had done and has been devastated to learn it. Kaplan said he's deeply ashamed and pledged to win back the trust and respect of his daughter, family, and community.
ABC's Aaron Katursky in New York. It is not clear when Kaplan will enter the plea. Sears hits the reset button.
Sears is living to ride another day, staging a comeback from staving off bankruptcy to emerging with a smaller is better business plan. The new era mapped out by Sears' largest shareholder and former CEO Eddie Lampert and his hedge fund, which acquired what was left of the ailing company for $5.2 billion. Stores with a smaller footprint will be called Sears Home and Life and are set to open in Alaska, Louisiana, and Kansas. No Jacqueline Smith collection or any many other celebrity brand lines, clothing is out the door, with the company focusing on appliances, home services, and mattresses. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Police in Grand Rapids, Michigan say 2 people suspected of defacing the grave site of former President Gerald Ford and First Lady Betty Ford have come forward and are cooperating. This is ABC News.
Guardians of the Grass, run with us on a John Deere X300 Select Series lawn tractor built for versatility. Because when you take pride in your lawn, you do it all. You mulch, bag, haul, grow, mow, and a whole lot more. And that's why the X300 Series takes care of everything with attachments for all your spring and summer projects. Because you're not just doing yard work, you're creating common ground for the whole neighborhood to enjoy. Nothing runs like a Deere. Run with us. Search John Deere X300 for more.
Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
From the KMET Weather Center, for Beaumont and the Pass area, looking at mostly cloudy skies this afternoon with a high today of 59. Scattered showers in the area tonight with an overnight low of 44. And then partly to mostly sunny skies tomorrow, breezy and 62. For Redlands, today mostly sunny with a high of 65. And for the Desert Cities, sunny with a high of 75. I'm Rich Summers for Smart Talk, 1490 KMET.
Hello, listeners. This is Christopher from The Christopher Show. Hey, if you missed one of our shows here at KMET, don't worry about it. You can go to our webpage, and that's KMET1490am.com. Go to the homepage, click on the SoundCloud tab, and hear any show anytime you want.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
Time now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now, here's Jay.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Educated Retirement. And I'm supposed to be endorsing what I'm saying here, so be it. But we're here on KMET, 1490 AM. And we contemplate retirement, how to prepare for retirement, how to best, I was thinking today, I was talking about when people went through school and were educated. And I think I'm just finishing my education right now. Isn't it when you retire is when you get your diploma and then you can start living? I think that's kind of what it's supposed to be. But me, I'm not retired. So, we need as many other people, because if I were retired and doing well, then I'm the only one you would need to be listening to. So we need some help with our answers, and we've got some great help with us today in the form of, and we're not going to say what his form exactly is, but Ron Siegel is with us today. And Ron, usually he has a soundboard with a whole bunch of nice, things we would have an applause right now, but I can hear the applause anyway. Can't you, Ron?
I always hear something going off in my head.
Okay.
Sometimes it's pretty scary, though.
No kidding. Yeah. But we are here waiting for you to call us with your questions or just say hello. 951-922-3532. That's 951-922-3532. And remember to keep that tab open on your internet, on your browser for KMET1490.com and the educatedretirementradio.com for more questions, hopefully some answers, and almost daily blog updates. So to let you know today, give you a little preview, we are going to discuss how Jack Nicholson and Bette Davis met the Vulcans with the help of a lava lamp, and how Sherlock Holmes sang My Fair Lady, or in the movie at least, My Fair Lady, not on stage though. But our very special guest today is Ron, and Ron is the host of his very own radio phenomenon, the Ron Siegel Show, and is your customer advocate. So go ahead and, first of all, before I say what today is, go ahead and say hello, Ron.
Hello, how are you? Glad to be with you, Jay. I'm looking forward to chatting with you this morning, this afternoon.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's
5 o'clock somewhere.
That's kind of part of what your show is, right? It's
Exactly.
5 o'clock somewhere. So we are going to first let you know that today is April 5th, really. And I got this feature from Ron's show. I am on Ron's show every now and then, actually fairly often, which I'm happy to say. And on his show, he usually says what the day is. And usually when I'm on his show, it's some kind of food-related day. Like I was on Thursday, and it was Burrito Day, and it was also Chicken Cordon Bleu Day, and we had a very serious discussion how you don't need to decide one or the other. If you want to look anything like me, you eat both. And I think I even suggested wrapping chicken cordon bleu in a tortilla and having your chicken cordon burrito. But today is First Contact Day. That is, when was the First Contact Day? Well, it may have been, maybe in the future, but if you've heard me talk on one of my shows before, I'm really not into time being a linear line. It's either a circle or it's just an atmosphere, but we can talk about that another time. But what we are celebrating today is that in 2063, humans and Vulcans have their first contact. It's a rather minor holiday in the Star Trek universe. And what you are supposed to do is have a Star Trek viewing marathon. Are you going to do that, Ron?
No, I'm going to stick with the food, Jay. I kind of like the idea that today is National Deep Dish Pizza Day. And National
I always find that stuff. I was trying to listen to your show, and I had some trouble this morning doing that. So I could jump on some of that. Deep dish pizza?
Deep dish pizza and caramel. I don't know if you put them on together, but do you have a little ice cream with caramel?
A caramel pizza?
There you go.
I'd rather have a pizza in caramel, but that's something complete. My wife is a caramel freak. I just like the chocolate, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I think tonight we're going to start a marathon because we're getting close to the 4th of July when Stranger Things has the third season comes up. So I think we're going to stock up on some Eggos and start watching the first 2 seasons, kind of. I usually don't binge watch, but I think we'll do some of that. Today is also Bell Bottoms Day. And that was very popular in the 60s and 70s and made so by Sonny and Cher and James Brown. But what I thought really interesting is the origins came from sailors because it was easy to roll up your pants and swab the deck on ships. So be it. So that's our bit of education for today. It's also National Lava Lamp Day. Now, can you see the lava lamp behind me here? Let's take a look.
There, your chair's you moved out of the way, but your chair's there. I almost see it there, Jay.
Let me.
There you go.
All right. Now it's been on about an hour and a half, but I think it takes a little longer than that to get rolling. Kind of like me. You know what I mean? So lava lamps have been around since 1965, invented by British accountants. And you thought accounting was dull. Edward Craven Walker, or Edwin the Craven Walker, in 1963, it was originally called a astro globe. But I think plasma globe is kind of more like globes. And I got one of those. But the formula is still a trade secret. So it's got paraffin wax, mineral oil with water, and carbon tetrachloride. You like the way I got through that one? California hat optional weekend is coming up. Now, what's optional about wearing a hat? I think you could do that any weekend, right? Any day? Well, I can see now there's a lot more light on your side of the screen because you're not wearing a hat, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And me, it's the same thing. In fact, if I face down, you'd see nothing but reflection. So I'm told, though, and the reason it's important on this retirement show is that it keeps you from aging. So, you know, my old friend Ron Siegel, who I talk about on most shows, he always recommends, and he hasn't done this in a bit, have you, Ron? The Household Board of Directors. I think that's brilliant.
I do it a lot. Hey, before you get past the celebrations today, there is one, Jay, that is extremely serious.
Bring it in.
You know that I'm not always serious, but April 5th is Gold Star Spouses Day. That's a really, really serious one where we can honor the surviving loved ones of military service members killed in the line of duty. So I know that the station reaches out to several, so we should take a second to remember that Gold Star Spouses, that's a serious one, Jay.
It is. And that's the date again is the 5th, did you say?
Yeah, April 5th, we honor Gold Star Spouses.
That's close to today.
That is. It is.
So, yeah, no, I really appreciate that. Thank you for bringing that up. Although it wasn't meant to be, I remember your part, well, a different kind of gold star. But that reminds me to make sure you tell people about the things you do and how they can get a hold of you. And we'll do that in a second. But on that Household Board of Directors, again, we do not help you decide who the CEO is, because that's a whole different show altogether, right, Ron?
Absolutely.
But you need an attorney, financial planner, tax expert, realtor, and mortgage experts. And Ron and I hope that both of us are on that list. And of course, don't forget your emergency phone numbers. And my little house cleaning thing here, I do have a job. Listen to that. A day job. You can call me Day or you can call me Jay. And it's at the Loan Source. My NMLS number is 384-465. And Department of Real Estate, which I don't sell any real estate, but still, it shows I have spent some time learning these things. 792-630. So let's get back to Ron. And the first thing, Ron, is to tell people about you. And then, we can start talking about whatever.
Well, I have been a serial entrepreneur. So back in my early days at Chapman College, before it was Chapman University, I actually won the Entrepreneurship Award back there in the early 80s. Have always been in business, owned my own businesses, sold those, went to work actually for Merrill Lynch at a point in time. And I found out that more people have debts than assets. So I kind of like that idea of helping people manage those debts. So I work on the debt side of people's balance sheets as a consumer advocate. And we're constantly looking out to try and help people with their mortgage needs, their finance needs, setting that household board of directors. So I like that idea as well. We know who the CEO is, Jay, and mine's always my wife.
Yeah, mine too. But we not everybody admits it as quickly as we do, right?
Absolutely. So
I've been part of this board of directors. I've been married a little over 40 years now. And you?
Next Thursday will actually be 32.
Wow, you're not too far behind. I mean, you are 40 years younger than I am, but you're not too far behind. I guess that makes me a late bloomer then, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, but something, neither one of us probably could find anyone else to put up with us.
No. Well, after 40 years, it's tough. Once you have that kind of, you're used to it so much. I don't know that, my wife won't put up with change, not even getting rid of me. I mean, look at that, all this time living here. Anyway, that's another story, but yeah.
Well, Jay, you could pull a Jeff Bezos. I mean, He paid $37 billion to part from his wife. $37 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Just a few dollars from there, right?
Yeah. So his wife, what do you think? You think she thought it was worth it?
I don't know. At $37 billion to walk away, I don't know. He's still got, I think he's still got enough to last. I don't think he's going to have any problems.
No, I don't think so either. You know, and that's another good subject is what people are doing and buying. But we are just about ready for a break. Ron, yell out your contact information. Then we'll take a break and you'll come right back.
Beautiful. You can reach me at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. RonSiegelRadio.com.
And the first thing we do when we come back is you'll say that again. And we'll take a short break now. And thanks so much. You will hear from us soon. Bye-bye.
After the game, after school, after work, Applebee's is where you want to be to enjoy their bold, savory grilled steaks, salmon, or chicken. Applebee's is located where Beaumont meets Banning, just off 6th Street near Highland Springs Avenue. Applebee's started with the same philosophy they follow today. Focus on serving good food to good people in a neighborhood-style setting. Applebee's also offers car side to go when you order online. Applebee's in Beaumont, serving the Pass area. So fresh, so fast, make it Applebee's tonight.
Decades ago, scientists discovered why Greenland Eskimos maintain healthy hearts despite their high-fat diets. The high level of omega-3 oils in their seafood diet protected their hearts. Carlson Norwegian fish oil provides those important omega-3 oils. The same omega-3s from cold water fish support maximum brain power, immune strength, joint comfort, and our vision too. Carlson, the very finest fish oil, is a valuable source of the important omega-3s, EPA and DHA. Each teaspoon provides a full 1,600 milligrams of omega-3s. And its purity is guaranteed. Try it on salads and popcorn. It tastes like lemon, not fishy. As for Carlson, the very finest fish oil, at finer health food stores today.
Get up to the minute forecast and temperatures for Beaumont, Banning, Redlands, Palm Springs, your community, national or international cities, on KMET's website, KMET1490am.com. The station now features AccuWeather. AccuWeather offers weekend and extended forecasts, along with the latest radar map and current conditions. AccuWeather on KMET1490am.com. Logged in every morning for your daily forecast.
Check us out online at KMET1490am.com.
You're invited to the City of Banning Disaster Survival Expo, Saturday, April 6th. Support the community and donate blood. Join us for the blood drive at 789 North San Gregorio Avenue, Saturday, April 6th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. For appointments, call 1-800-879-4484. That's 1-800-879-4484 or lstream.org.
Welcome back to the Educated Retirement here on KMET 1490 with Ron Siegel and a lava lamp. Now write this number down, whether you need it right now or not. 951-922-3532. 951-922-3532. And I'm trying to put my age into one of those. I can't quite make it. I mean, I guess I'm closer to the 95. But anyway, Remember to keep that tab open on your radio and check us out. And Ron is waiting in the wings, and he'll be back with us. But I got to give credit where it's due, because Ron's "this day is" kind of thing. My wife also jumped on, that I need to be more like other big time, let me just say big time announcers, and add a few other features like this. And I'll tell you, Ron, I really need to thank you for these ideas, because some of the best times my wife and I have, and I was just telling some other people today about it, is when we sit down and we look up these things and ask each other questions about, like today is, and famous people's birthdays. So today, Spencer Tracy was born 1900, and he earned his wings in 1967. Remember Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and Inherent the Wind, right? Bad Day at Black Rock is kind of one of my favorites, although it may not be on the top of everyone's list. And, of course, Captain's Courageous. Betty Davis, also her birthday was today, 1908. And she went away in 1989. She won Best Actress Academy Award in a movie called Dangerous, 1936. And another one for Jezebel in 1939. I particularly remember movies like All About Eve. And then, of course, when she got to...
You probably remember Adam and Eve, too, don't you?
Oh, yeah, that was a good movie, too.
No, I thought you remembered the originals.
That's what I meant, yeah. I was trying to just, offshoot that a little. Yeah, I've been around that long. And when she became, that is, Betty became as old as me, or maybe even older, if there is such a thing, Ron, I don't know. Hush, Hush, Sweet Charlotte, and Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. And I liked those movies a lot. I really did. But, yeah, and, there's just something about older people. Older stars. Some of them embrace being old, and they do things like that. And we'll get to another one here in a minute. But Gregory Peck was also born on this day in 1916. And he earned his wings. I don't know if I told you, Ron, because I do the reverse mortgages, I work with a lot of older people. So instead of saying when you pass away, for a while I used to say if you pass away. That's a wonderful idea, but not very real. So I say when you earn your wings, so hopefully that's a better way to put it. But he passed away in 2003.
I was watching George Burns and thought there might be a way of taking a different way out.
No, and of course he smoked cigars right up to the end.
Right.
And you know that I had really bad asthma when I was a kid, but I got out of it by exercising with cigars. I was able to exercise my lungs. So, better now. So, but Gregory, he was To Kill a Mockingbird. He won a Best Acting Award for that in 1963. And I remember, of course, Man in the Gray Flannel Suit, Moby Dick, and then later on, Omen. The Omen, where there was the Omen. Damien was his name, right? The bad guy. And I the more I listen to things, I realize, I understand now that a lot of people pronounce demon as Damon. So, whatever. Roger Corman, here's a real favorite of mine. You know Roger Corman, Ron?
No, I don't know that name.
No, you have too much taste. He was born where I was, a little bit before me. Roger Corman was born 1926 in Detroit. And he is known as the Pope of Pop Cinema, or the King of the Bees. Some of the greatest silly movies from the 1950s were his. Bucket of Blood, you remember that, right? No?
Heard of it.
How about Little Shop of Horrors?
Oh, yeah, that one I heard of. I'm not a big movie guy, Jay.
Well, I know, but these are such... Jack Nicholson was in that. Remember Jack Nicholson's part? If not, go look at it. He was the masochist that loved to go to the dentist.
Okay.
And what a lot of people don't realize is that Roger Corman gave Jack Nicholson his start. Okay, the real discoverer of Nicholson was also a writer for Corman movies such as The Trip. The movie The Trip was written, although it's not screen credit, but it was written by Jack Nicholson. And a few years ago at an American Cinematheque showing of that movie, Corman was there in person, and I was next to him in the bathroom at the urinals. So I'm proud to say I've had that experience with several important people, but he was one of them.
You're not going to be president anymore.
Yeah. The Terror with Jack Nicholson was, I think, Jack's first real starring role. And along with Vincent Price and Edgar Allan Poe, Roger Corman did The Raven, House of Usher, Pit and the Pendulum, Tales of Terror, Mask of the Red Death, and more. So Vincent Price was another one of those guys that when he got older, he embraced the fact that he looked the way he did and his love for what he did. But you know that James Cameron also got his start from Roger Corman? I bet most people don't know that, but James Cameron got his very first start in the movies doing miniatures for one of Roger Corman's B movies called Galaxy of Terror. And then he became the art director for Battle Beyond the Stars. And what really got him, I mean, if you want to look at all these really big movies James Cameron's done, he got his start in filmmaking doing miniatures for Roger Corman, and he got the job because he delighted Corman with the design of a spaceship with female parts. Because Roger Corman said, well, you know what sells? And James Cameron made a spaceship look like something that sells. So there's another part of our lesson for today. So let's get back to Ron.
Is there going to be a quiz on this?
No.
Okay, good.
No, but there might be on what you have to say.
Uh-oh.
So have at it. Let's talk about what's new in your world, or, you normally or sometimes give us a market update. We can go through anything that you feel like you'd like to talk about that relates to you and your business also.
Well, Jay, something I thought I'd share with today is how to save some money. Right? Because a lot of people that bought houses last 6 months ago, 12 months ago, 18 months ago, and they were looking at a property, they bought something, they got in the game. That's always one of my big issues is get in the game. If you have to get mortgage insurance, if you have to do an FHA loan, whatever you have to do to get in the game, because the average household gets about another half or another income added to their household in California just by the appreciation on their real estate.
Right.
Right. So I mean, if you've got a household that's earning $60,000 or $70,000, and you've got a $400,000 house that appreciates at 5% a year, which is pretty common in Southern California, that's another $20,000 a year in wealth added to the household.
Right.
So get in the game.
And a housing payment usually, I hate to say the word usually, but I think it's mostly true, is probably not as much money as a rent payment.
Right. So
even, I know the tax advantage has been pulled back a little bit and, given some and take others, but it's still very valuable from that point of view too.
Absolutely. Something, January, I think the number is, and I've got it off the top of my head, is January 1st, we had about a 4.43 was the Freddie Mac interest rate.
Uh-huh.
Today we're at 4.06. So anybody that bought a house in the last, 6 to 24 months really should be talking to a mortgage professional And I throw a shameless plug in there. Our team does a wonderful job for people.
And what's that phone number again?
800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Right? But the idea is at least get a mortgage checkup. See if we can get rid of that mortgage insurance.
Checkup, I like that.
Right, get rid of the mortgage insurance. Get rid of the, get the payment down. And if you're comfortable making that full payment right now, apply the principal difference. Half of it, put it towards your mortgage so you pay it off quicker. And the other half, have a good time or get rid of some of the other debt or build up a emergency fund.
Right.
So I've been listening lately on the news, and I think it was Jamie Dimon that's been talking a lot on the news lately, that the average American household does not have $400 saved. If they blow out a couple tires,
Jamie Dimon.
Right? Blow out a couple tires, you're in trouble. Right? Set up that emergency.
Especially on all these big SUVs people are buying. Those are expensive tires.
All right, so here's another consumer advocate free piece of advice. And I don't give financial advice. I'm not licensed for that. But what if you were to take just part of the savings from restructuring your home loan, put that money into a Roth IRA if you qualify?
Right.
Right. So you put that money away and then you start looking at your insurance and go from a $500 deductible to a $1,000 deductible. Put the difference of that into the same Roth IRA. And
right, because you can take the money out and pay the rest of that deductible when it's needed, and overall you've saved more money.
Absolutely, and we know that from your home insurance, the statistics are you have a need for your insurance once every 12 years.
Yeah, insurance is the most expensive thing you can buy unless you need it, and then it's the cheapest thing you ever bought.
Exactly. But if you increase that deductible a little bit and have that money set aside, you've done a little bit less to help the bottom line of the insurance company.
Right.
And who owns the biggest buildings in every city? Right?
It's not Gold Star Mortgage, right? Or the Lone Source Mortgage Tower? No.
No, it's going to be Allstate or Metropolitan Life or someone like that. And I'd rather see,
there's always Transamerica. That's kind of an icon building too.
Yeah, I'd rather see that money in your pocket instead of somebody else's, right? Our listeners are the ones that we want to see if we can help them a little bit.
Right. And when you do get older, like me, I was going to say you can usually tell that by gray hair, but of course, those that lose their hair, that's a little... Anyway, a reverse mortgage kind of encompasses everything you just said. You make payments if and when you want to, and every single penny of the payment you make, which of course also reduces your principal, you still have access to that payment. So I didn't want to talk too much about reverses, but just thought I'd throw that in since you opened the door to, because there's two sides of paying off your home. As my good friend Ron would say, what's the return on equity?
Zero.
Right. But if you still have access to it without having to refinance and pay, and not having to sell it, then you have so many more choices.
And that's all part of the long-term strategy, right? I mean, you pay down that mortgage, or you're taking the money and using it or putting it into a safe, secure investment. And then those of us that don't qualify yet for a reverse mortgage, once we get to the age where we do qualify, we can buy a house, we can make use of that equity. We have all sorts of options. And it's all just part. I'm a big person. I'm not big, oversized anyway. But the idea here.
Did you say big?
That's what I said.
And your line, that I love your line. I know I'm getting into your time here, but you and I have both. What's that line? Go ahead.
We've beaten anorexia.
There you go. I love that line.
And that's why the idea that it's deep dish pizza day.
Whoa, let's get it. I want to get back real quick. I wanted to get back to you said basically just to get in the game. when I was younger, which would be before you were born, and interest rates, the first house I bought, the first trust deed was 16%, and the second was a 19. What we said then is get on the train. That's kind of like what you're saying. Get on, get in the game. Get on the train. You'd have to get in the caboose. Don't worry about the first class. Get on the caboose and work your way forward to the engine. So
that's a great point, Jay, because I hear this a lot from people. You throw out the idea of buy your own house. And as soon as they've been out shopping, you mentioned earlier about rent. They're out there looking at rent. And when they go to rent, they say, okay, I think I can live with a 2-bedroom apartment. And I say, well, you could probably buy a house for the same money, and especially our veterans, we love them, right? The veterans, they can get into a house with less money. They can buy a house with less money out of pocket than they can get into an apartment with rent, right?
And with the interest rates we have right now, because sometimes you put no money down, you have a huge payment because rates are higher. Right now, rates are not that high. So if you're a veteran at all and have any kind of wherewithal, of course, call Ron to find out about that wherewithal. And what's that number again, Ron, before we take another break?
800-306-1990, 800-306-1990.
And we here at The Educated Retirement will be right back. Thanks so much and take care. Bye-bye.
After the game, after school, after work, Applebee's is where you want to be to enjoy their bold, savory grilled steaks, salmon, or chicken. Applebee's is located where Beaumont meets Banning, just off 6th Street near Highland Springs Avenue. Applebee's started with the same philosophy they follow today. Focus on serving good food to good people in a neighborhood-style setting. Applebee's also offers car side to go when you order online. Applebee's in Beaumont, serving the Pass area. So fresh, so fast, make it Applebee's tonight.
Every Thursday afternoon here on KMET, we have the privilege of meeting seemingly ordinary Americans who have endured extraordinary circumstances on our behalf. Hi, I'm Paul Leffler, host of Hometown Heroes, and every Thursday at 3, we hear from veterans who truly understand the price of freedom. Their stories of service and sacrifice are oh so relevant for us today. So join me this Thursday and every Thursday at 3 p.m. for Hometown Heroes, right here on KMET, AM 1490.
You're invited to the City of Banning Disaster Survival Expo, Saturday, April 6th. Support the community and donate blood. Join us for the blood drive at 789 North San Gregorio Avenue, Saturday, April 6th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. For appointments, call 1-800-879-4484. That's 1-800-879-4484 or lstream.org.
Hello, listeners. This is Christopher from The Christopher Show. Hey, if you missed one of our shows here at KMET, don't worry about it. You can go to our webpage, and that's KMET1490am.com. Go to the homepage, click on the SoundCloud tab, and hear any show anytime you want.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Don't miss out on the free KMET smartphone apps. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
And welcome back to The Educated Retirement here on KMET 1490 AM. Give us a call. I'm here with Ron Siegel, 951-922-3532. 951-922-3532. And we'll get to our what happened this day in history, and then we'll get right back to Ron. As I know you're going to say I remember, but you don't, Ron. 1804, the first recorded meteorite in Scotland hit outside of Glasgow. Now, when I first heard that, I said, after yawning, I said, big deal. Well, it turns out it's only one of 4 recorded ever hitting Scotland. So if you want to move somewhere where you might not get knocked off by a meteorite, Scotland's the place. It's called a high Possil, Possil meteorite. So also on this day in 1889, The Adventure of the Copper Beeches was written by Arthur Conan Doyle, one of the 56 Sherlock Holmes stories. Now, Ron, did you read Sherlock Holmes?
I think I read a little in school, but you know me, Jay. I don't know how to read.
Well, yeah. Well, I had them
I'm
read
into
to
Audible.
me. You know, when I was a kid, I guess we didn't even have the internet then, but, you know, I'd like to say, if we had it then, I would have done it all on Audible. Believe me. I love that. But I did read all of them. I love those. Also, on this day in 1954 was what's called the Rock and Roll Revolution began. So Elvis debuted the hit single "That's All Right," which we'll let Ron sing a little of now.
I don't think you want to hear me sing, Jay. I don't want to make anybody ill. That would cause too many car crashes then.
Oh, that's right. A lot of people are stuck on the freeways right now. Well, that's why we have people listening to us, right? We don't want them sick.
Right.
Anyway, supposedly, according to history buffs, which I like to think of myself as a history buff. It's the only buff that I can lay claim to. But by him singing or releasing that song, "That's All Right," that's what ushered in the Rock and Roll Revolution. And that was written by Big Boy, Arthur Big Boy Crudup, Crudup, a Delta blues singer and all that kind of good stuff. Also on this day, seems kind of late in the year, but maybe, I guess, My Fair Lady won Best Movie on this day. And I don't remember the year, but, George Cukor won Best Director. I think, wasn't he fired because wasn't he the first guy on Gone with the Wind, if I'm not mistaken? Anyway, the best score, of course, Lerner and Lowe, and the best actor, Rex. Yeah, I love Sherlock Holmes stories, and everybody that seems, although nobody's really alive who has seen William Gillette, he was supposedly the best Sherlock Holmes that ever acted. I think there's a silent film or two with him. But a guy named Jeremy Brett, to me, was the very best Sherlock Holmes ever. He was as good as what I thought I pictured when I read the stories. There's a whole series on BBC. I've got all of them, but I mean, if you can look them up or whatever, if you don't know. And if you like Sherlock Holmes and all, you've got to see that BBC series. It's great. And then unfortunately he died a few years ago, not that old, but he sang, there I go, going through that again. He sang "On the Street Where You Live," okay, in the movie. So, and I understand there's a new host on KMET that is, what does he do? He's even older than I am, and he used to do, or still does, recordings of Broadway shows. So there. So let's get back to Ron and discussion there.
So we were chatting a little bit about getting into the game, and that idea, Jay, was where we were talking about looking into, restructuring that debt and saving some money, putting some money away, setting up that emergency fund. I think the last number I saw, Jane, I probably have it on my computer here. The people that have put money away have 44 times net worth. People that own a home have 44 times greater net worth than the person that's renting. So
wow,
that's a big issue. That we were talking about your terminology of get on the train, or mine is get in the game. Either way, I mean, it's important to get that started, get going, build up that household net worth, and have that legacy all put in place for somebody. That way you can enjoy your retirement. The average person, I just saw this, is getting like $1,800 a month Social Security.
Yeah.
Right? So you gotta, when you start getting to the retirement age and making sure obviously your household board of directors and having the estate plan put in place. But they used to talk about the 3 prongs of retirement, right? The pension plan, which has gone away. You've got the savings, the 401k, right? So now you've got your mortgage where you're saving that money, and if you're using that strategically, and then talking about the reverse mortgage, I'm a big proponent of the reverse mortgage. I love the product, and I think that the biggest problem our society has is there's still way too many people that don't understand the product.
Correct.
And I'm glad that you're here every Friday educating people. At least getting the conversation going, that there's so many myths out there, Jay, that people think, I'm going to lose. I'm not going to be able to give anything to my kids, and the bank is going to take my property, or I can't sell my property. I can't move to Mississippi or Oregon or wherever they want to move. Right. And those are just all myths.
I know.
And we need to solve that.
Wrong. I talked to somebody last night, and her mother got a HELOC about 3 or 4 years ago, and for over $200,000, and now that needs to be paid off with the new reverse. If she had done the reverse instead, they'd be in great shape now, because they'd have a line of credit that would have kept growing way more than they could get now. It's just HELOCs are not good for people who are close to retirement age, because the payment skyrockets after a certain amount of time, and it can always be frozen, and it can always be taken away. The line of credit with a reverse mortgage, that just does not happen. And
Jay, here's another one that I want to throw at you, because a lot of people look at it, and we talk, and I talk on my show about the idea. Okay, if you're 62 years of age and have some equity in your home, then we need to talk to Jay. But here's the other part: is I just had a couple last week that they're actually in their one of them's 60, the other's 59, and I said, okay, let's look at what the program will look like hypothetically if you're 3 years older or 5 years older than this, and maybe we need to start today putting an extra $200 a month payment on your mortgage, so that you qualify for what we anticipate will be the FHA reverse mortgage guidelines 3 or 4 years out.
Right.
So start looking at that right away, so it's part of your plan, right? I mean, it's just a matter of, I don't know that you have to put it right toward the mortgage today, or understand that you can buy down your principal. You can pay down your principal to make sure you get the best program that Jay has available.
Absolutely. And even, you had a situation as long ago as yesterday where the wife was less than 62, and it still looked like it was working out pretty well.
Absolutely. Those folks are, and those are high net worth individuals that are looking at using the reverse as part of their, and it was a financial planner that asked them to call us and talk to us about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, some of that, in the last month and a half alone, I visited people, and I'm working on some transactions with people who own one fella owns a $6 million home with no loan on it. someone else with a $2.25 million loan. I'm sorry, $2.25 million home with a $250,000 loan on it. Someone with a $3 million home with a $1 million loan on it, and several others, all in that price range. Now, that $3 million home is in Laguna Beach, and it has an elevator, and it works with me in it, believe it or not. Now, it certainly doesn't go up as fast as it comes down, but I was just wondering if it would work. You know, we can never really tell if it'll work with both of us because we may not fit.
But you know something, Jay, you know the other part that is another misconception there, and I hope you'll chat about it, I hope you do this on a regular basis, is talk about the idea, because I did speak with one of my listeners earlier this week. They were looking at buying a house and didn't realize that they could use a reverse mortgage to buy the house.
Right.
Right? So it's not just something where somebody has to refinance or has 100% equity. They can buy a new house using a reverse mortgage and get.
Yeah, it seems to make the most sense.
They get more purchasing power because, you know, this is a scenario that I see frequently. Is somebody paid off their house in Orange County or LA County, and now they want to move to Palm Springs. Right? And, you know, they can take, they had a free and clear house with $600,000, $800,000 in it. They go to Palm Springs, buy a house for $600,000 there, put $300,000 down, get the reverse mortgage from you, and they have no payment for the rest of their life. So if they put 100% purchase price, they pay cash for it, or they use a reverse mortgage.
Right.
Either way, there's no payment the rest of their life.
And almost certainly there will continue to be an increase in the equity. Now, maybe there's some states in this country where you won't see that kind of increase, but here in Southern California and California, there's no chance you won't, that anything that bad will happen. We will continue to see equity building. So you're in pretty safe hands. And after you've purchased the house, if you do want to keep making payments, just remember, you're just building up more in that line of credit. So you can take it back again. And your spending power is probably going to be greater doing that than putting it in the bank or having put it in the bank to begin with. So it's the best of all possible. I had a financial planner tell me he bought a house a while back with a reverse mortgage. And when his peers, other financial planners, this was a couple of years ago when it still wasn't looked at, but now luckily it is, they asked him, why would you buy your house with a reverse mortgage? He just said, well, I just made my next 30 years worth of rent in advance and still have a call option on the property, which means he's still expecting to make more money when he sells it or when he passes on for his estate.
Yeah, that's the whole thing, and it's such a misconception that people have. So the bottom line is get in the game, and you know, we didn't even talk, Jay, about the idea that every one of the senior specialists that I talk to tell me that people are healthier and live longer in their own home.
Right.
So, you know, that's
right.
That's just another. You know, we're not doctors, but. And I don't even play one on TV.
Well, one of my websites is www.drheckham.com. But you're right, I'm not a doctor.
Right. I mean, but you know, people live longer and have a better life. You know, in many instances, when they're in their own,
right. Yeah, and people need to remember that, you know, as far as their estate is concerned. Well, this is fodder for another show, but a reverse mortgage can actually, against what things that you may have thought can increase your legacy. But, you know, the biggest problem with your legacy is not a loan, not a home loan. It's health care. And that's for a whole nother show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, again, it's all about planning on the debt side. So many people plan on the asset side. They don't plan on the debt side and making use of their assets fully.
So as usual, this hour has gone by much too fast. So you're going to come back, I hope?
I will.
Okay.
If you'll ask me.
Oh, I'm asking you right now, and I'll see you at the Renaissance Fair. I'm sure you'll be dressed like King Henry the Eighth or something like that.
long as I have the Stein.
Give your name and phone number one more time, or a way to get a hold of you, and then we'll have to say goodbye.
Ron Siegel, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com.
Thank you very much, Ron. Thank you very much, Sean. And thank you very much, everyone who's listening. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Educated Retirement Show with Jay Kaplan. Tune in every Friday at 3 p.m. to learn more about your mortgage and reverse mortgages. And don't forget, each show is also podcasted on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. Thanks for listening.
Serving the Inland Empire and desert communities, this is 1490 AM KMET, Banning, Beaumont, Redlands, and Palm Springs.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. President Trump makes a renewed push for border security as he inspects a refurbished section of fencing in California.
Despite legal attempts to stop his emergency declaration to build the wall, President Trump saying here this rebuilt section of the wall is the first of 400 miles that will be built in 2 years.
Money's been transferred, money's been approved. And that wasn't easy.
The president touring the recently rebuilt section of the wall here, 30 feet high, over 2 miles long, with a plaque giving him credit.